Hello, scholars. This week's module is all about inequalities. So this is week 4's tutorial on inequalities. Specifically, our learning objectives this week as they relate to inequalities are substituting. We're going to substitute to check which numbers can make inequalities true. And then we're also looking to answer questions by determining or deciding which values from sets of numbers could make an inequality true, or which ones might be false. So to remind your brains, and this is us making a connection to years past, what is an inequality? An inequality is an algebraic statement that a quantity is greater than, less than, or equal to another quantity. For example, the statement 48 minus b is greater than 23 is an inequality. And so our work this week is going to be seeing what values could potentially satisfy that inequality, which values for b, that variable b, could make it true. And you've heard, let me get my pen ready, that language greater than, less than, or equal to before. And just to kind of fast map that for you, I'll remind you that those symbols are greater than, less than, or equal to. So looking at my first example and then our first learning objective today, it asks, is the inequality true or false when b is equal to 4? So in our learning objective, I use the word substitute. And specifically, I say substitute to check. And when we substitute, scholars, all we're doing is flip-flopping that variable. So last week's vocabulary, that mathematical term, variable, we're substituting the value that we've been given. So in this problem on my Post-it note, I see that I have the variable b plus 37 is less than 41. And we're trying to decide if that's true or false when we're given the value for b. So it's already given to us. We just need to switch it out to check. So when I do this work in my margin, I'm actually going to replace the variable b with the value I've been given, 4. So instead of b, I will substitute the value 4. And I know that the rest of this inequality says that b, or now the value 4, should be added to 37. And if it's true, that amount should be less than 41. So scholars, I'll do this math, and I'm going to go ahead and do this math mentally. 4 plus 37. I know that I've been able to make another group of 10s, so now I have 4 10s, and 1 left over is 1. So now I'm left, once I've combined 4 and 37, with 41 is less than 41. And I actually don't think that's true, because 41 should be exactly equal to 41. So for me to make my decision about this particular problem, I would say it is false. When b is equal to 4, that is false, because 41 should be equal to 41. Looking at that next learning objective, scholars, where I determine which values from a set make an inequality true, or which ones perhaps might be false. So I'm given in this problem the question, which values from the set? So here I have a set of numbers listed. I have 3, 4, 5, and 6. So which values from that set satisfy the inequality or make it true? So here I'm going to have to do a little bit more work, because I don't just have one value for that variable n. I see I have 4 in my set. So I might have more than one right answer. So remember, as I substituted in that last problem, instead of the variable, I go ahead and write the value, and I'll substitute that first value, 3. 7 minus 3 is greater than 2. Let's see if it's true. 7 minus 3 is 4. And scholars, I do agree that 4 is greater than 2. So that value worked. So 3 is true. I'll put my little check marks there. So scholars, I'll check that next value, 4. Let's see if 7 minus 4 is greater than 2. And since 7 minus 4 is 3, and 3 is greater than 2, I also agree with this value for n as being true. So far I agree with 3. I agree with 4. Let me scroll just a little bit. So I've got a little more margin to work with because I do need to substitute the rest of that set to see if it's true or not. So I've got the value 5 to take the place of that variable n. 7 minus 5 should be greater than 2 if 5 is going to satisfy this inequality or make it a true statement. Now here's where I see an issue. 7 minus 5 is 2, and 2 is not greater than 2. It's equal to, or greater than equal to, but that's not the symbol I was given in the inequality. So since 2 should be equal to 2, I actually only agree with 3 and 4. And I'm using my number sense to go ahead and decide that since 5 isn't true, 6 can't be true either, since taking 5 from 7 is equal to 2. If I take away more than 5, it's going to be less than 2. So scholars, that's how I can look to meet those 2 learning objectives this week. And scholars, if you were wondering if you wanted to type in some super sneaky secret words into that text box along with what you've been asked to do, my favorite animal is a sloth. So also type in sloth.